What's up, guys? Welcome back to Back Road Driver.
We're the Miser Brothers.
Today, Sam is going to give you 13 updates and answers to your questions that you've had, as we've put roughly 20 videos about his truck on the channel now.
As I have had a few problems, I've worked through most of them. You've had a lot of questions and concerns yourself, so let's talk about them. So number 13, has the truck been using any oil? Guys, I've got 3,500 miles roughly on this truck. Let's see. I've already wiped this off once on camera. So what do we have here, guys? We're about halfway down the stick, or a little more, so I would say we have used a little bit of oil. I do have a little bit in my catch can over there, but that's another topic. It's not low per se right now, it's right in the middle, but I probably ought to go buy a quart so I can top this thing off. It doesn't concern me that it's used a little bit of oil. It's normal for a normal engine break-in, and these engines do use a little bit of oil for the first several thousand miles anyway. We'll keep an eye on it though and see if it becomes problematic. So number 12, guys, I'm going to give you an update on the oil catch can. It's been installed here since less than 500 miles, so we've got about 3,000 miles, a little over that, on this oil catch can, and I haven't emptied it or anything yet, so let's see what we got in here. Alright guys, we got an ounce or two of fluid in the bottom of this thing. Nothing too crazy. I obviously don't see any water or antifreeze or anything in there. Wouldn't expect that on a brand new engine. Everything's looking clean, and this is about what I would expect when you use an oil catch can. It doesn't seem like a lot, but this right here would have went right back into your intake and splattered all over the back of your valves. Now, I know this engine does have port injection as well, so that's not as big of a problem, but who wants this being recirculated back into their intake and splattered all over their engine? If you can catch some of it, just seems like a good idea to do so to me. I know a lot of you guys are going to say it's overkill and everything. Well, with my mods, I've got way over $60,000, upper 60s on this truck, and I want to protect my investment, so I'm going to use an oil catch can, guys. So number 11, I want to give you an update on cylinder deactivation. Guys, it can be turned off if you want to. I've got a video on that. I'll put a link to that video in the end card and in the description. Cylinder deactivation can be defeated. It's very simple, guys, and I've also checked and seen which drive modes it's active in. It's active in anything besides tow haul and sport mode, as far as I can tell. I didn't check the slippery and rock crawling and all that stuff. That doesn't really pertain to this because nobody uses those on the highway really anyway. But for your normal modes, the only way to turn it off would be to switch it to one of those two previous modes, or you can do this mod for free.
A lot of you guys have been talking about it in the comments and asking, is the 10-speed in Sam's 2021 clunky? We know it's a little clunky in my 18. I just had it rebuilt, not because it was bad, because we put a supercharger on it and did burnouts a lot, and we cooked it. So if you want to see that video, we'll put it in the description. Sam, what's your experience on the 2021 with the 10-speed transmission?
I'm going to preface these comments with, I have driven Brad's truck and I've driven mine. Both trucks have the 10-speed. Brad's truck, the 2018, the Wolf, always seemed pretty clunky to me, but I chalked that up to supercharger and all the destruction we've done with that truck. When I got mine, I think the gear changes, all that sort of stuff seems pretty smooth to me. When you put it in gear, it does seem clunky. When you come to a stop at a red light, sometimes when it comes back down in the first gear, it does clunk a little bit. I think those are just things you got to deal with this transmission. I will say my 6R80 in my old truck actually was a little bit smoother and didn't have many of those issues, but guys, it's not a problem with the transmission, it's just an annoyance because it is a little bit clunky. So number 9, guys, is surface rust on the underside of your vehicles. I know a lot of you guys are having a terrible time with this. You've got rusty rear diffs, you've got rusty suspension components in the back, and some of you guys, I mean, I feel bad for you. Mine's not that bad. I do have a little bit. We'll take a look at it here. The back side of my diff and everything looks pretty clean. I think we saw that in another video earlier on, where when I first got the truck, it was really clean on the back, so I didn't get up underneath and see. I do have a little bit on the front side of my diff and maybe on the drive shaft connections and everything right here on the pinion connections. My leaf springs look good. All these other components look pretty good. Normal surface rust, nothing too bad back here, but you know, I guess I'm one of the lucky ones that mine's not eat up like some of you guys. I do want to reiterate the fact that my truck was built in the Kansas City plant and it wasn't built up in Dearborn. I think that's the plant that had a lot more issues than the Kansas City plant. These were trucks that were being built in the middle of the winter and then were being shipped all over the country, and that's where a lot of this rust come from, I think. It's probably also a supplier issue with the coating that they used on some of these, and it just looks like some of these diffs were left outside to me, but that doesn't explain some of the leaf spring and other components being rusty. So it's really a plethora of issues back here, guys, and Ford should really take care of its customers and fix some of these vehicles.
Sam's getting ready for number 8. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you like Ford stuff. We do have a 2020 GT500. We've got a 2020 GT350. My 96 Bronco's right outside. I have the 2018 F150 that's supercharged called the Wolf. This is Zilla. This is Kong. We got to get a name for the Bronco. You're going to like that one. Well, if you like OBS stuff, it's pretty awesome. But subscribe, turn on the bell, and give this video a like, a little thumbs up down below. It helps us with YouTube. We appreciate it.
So number 8, guys, I'm going to give you a little update on the fuel mileage that I'm getting. Remember, I do have larger wheel and tire package on this thing, and it is a 4-wheel drive truck, and I do drive pretty hard. So I'm averaging about 14.5 miles per gallon. That's probably closer to 14.8 because of the percentage I've lost, because the wheels are causing the speedo to be off a little bit. But you know, I'm under 15 right now. I'm only got about 3,500 miles on the truck, and I have been driving it hard, so your results may vary. So number 7, guys, some of you guys out there have asked about some vibration under acceleration on the Coyote motor on 2021. Guys, that's been a problem on 2018s and up, as far as I can tell. Under hard acceleration, it does have some vibration issues. Some of that is valve rattle, some of that is noise from all of the injectors. This thing's got 16 injectors on it. Guys, this engine is just a little bit noisy. This is the 4th gen, and when you keep adding on things to this engine, things just don't mesh like they should. Sometimes that is engine noise. The Coyote motor is still going to way outperform all your other small V8s from other manufacturers, so this is still your go-to engine if you want a great V8. And the noise isn't causing problems, it's just causing people to complain a little bit. So number 7, you guys have been asking me about, does this tire setup rub any after I've had it for a while? This is a 305 5520 Nitto Ridge Grapplers on some Venom Rex 602 wheels. These are 20x9 with a 12 offset. So your factory is going to be a 44 offset, so that's going to get you out there about another 1.5 inches. This truck has a 2.5 inch level. I'm running Falcon shocks on this thing. We've got videos on installing both the Falcon shocks and these wheels and tires. When it comes to rubbing, really nothing to talk about here. It barely touches under some extreme conditions, but day to day you're not going to have any problems. If you're off-roading, you might rub a little bit, but this right here is basically a non-issue for rubbing. So number 5, I wanted to clarify some of the issues I was having with Android Auto. Seeing a lot of comments, why don't you go get an iPhone, you won't have issues, blah blah blah. Well, I'm talking about Android Auto, so if I go buy an iPhone, I won't have Android Auto anymore. But anyway, that's beside the point. The issues that I were having were not that Android Auto doesn't work per se, it just doesn't allow you to use your phone in its full capacity when Android Auto connects. So what have I done? I turned off wireless Android Auto, and now I just use the old style wired in connection. That fits my lifestyle a little bit better. I know when I'm plugged in I'm going to be hooked up, and when I'm not, I'm not. And I always got in my truck and charged my phone anyway. So wireless Android Auto was pretty cool, but I just don't think it was polished enough because it kept you from using some features on your phone. I just wanted to clarify the issue I was having wasn't how to use Android Auto, it's just that it does handicap you a little bit.
We're going to get to this flashing LED headlight and fog light setup here in just a second when we get to number 1, but now we're at number 4, and Sam's going to talk about hood shake and what we've done to fix that.
So in a previous video I talked to you about having a lot of hood shake. We took a trip up to Pittsburgh, or just outside of Pittsburgh, and my hood was shaking all over the place, and it actually looked like it might fly up. So some of your comments were to check the adjustment on it, and I went, duh. So I come out to the garage, and right here on both sides, this was twisted in way too far. All I did was lengthen those a little bit at a time. Go a turn or two at a time. Don't get too crazy with it. Shut it. See how that does. Another trick is you could put a little dab of Vaseline on this thing, and then when you shut your truck, if it's touching, you know it's actually touching up there, and it will wipe right off. Basically, guys, just adjust these out if your hood's shaking too much, and it'll get rid of it, no problem. So number 3, you guys were asking about the Bang & Olufsen Unleash system with the speakers in the headrest. Some people were saying that none of the speakers in the headrest and stuff play. Well, what you got to do is make sure that on your head unit that you turn it on to surround sound mode instead of stereo, and then you will get subtle sounds out of the headrests and in the ceiling. I've heard them myself. I know they're there on certain songs, so I know they do work. But it's not going to just blast music out of the headrest and out of the ceiling at you. It's for subtle surround sound type events in music, and that's all you're looking for, guys. So don't worry about not hearing sound, and if you don't, make sure you got surround sound on. So number 2, guys, I had a squirrel eat the wiring in my engine. Now, I know some of you have had this happen before, and a lot of you are thinking, what in the world? Well, take a look at this. A squirrel got in here underneath my hood during a storm. It ate the wire off of this coil pack, and it went into this major wiring harness right here. I had to dig all this out to get enough wiring to hook back onto. I did get good soldered connections on both sides. I am going to tidy it up with some wiring tape and everything. I just left it off so I could show you guys here on YouTube what actual wires were chewed up and everything. Now, this is a problem for multiple manufacturers. This isn't just a Ford problem. The underlying problem here is soy-based wiring, and manufacturers are doing this to be eco-friendly and everything, but what ends up happening is rodents and squirrels and that kind of stuff eat the wiring in your car, and it's your problem. It's not a warranty issue or anything, and this could have been very, very expensive. And if I wanted it fixed back to factory specs, it would be very expensive. So number 1, I'm going to show you the problems I'm having with my LED fog lights. This is where the problem started, guys. This one from the factory has a air leak in it, which allowed it to get water in it. So now it's got moisture all in it. It's been filled up all the way to here at some point in time. At first it was just this flickering a little bit, but now somewhere in the wiring it's causing my upper to blink pretty crazily as well. The truck has been off for like 5 or 10 minutes, so this continues for like 30 minutes until the battery actually cuts off. Like, you still have some reserve power and everything going for about 30 minutes or so. This just keeps going. It's embarrassing to be out in my truck as I'm driving down the road. This is what people see right now. I mean, this should be illegal. You're doing this to oncoming traffic. Guys, this is going to get fixed under warranty. They do have a part coming for me, and we'll get this taken care of. But Hope none of you other guys out there have this issue. Let me know down in the comments if any of you guys have had this exact same problem. So there you go, guys. That's 13 updates and answers to some of your questions you guys have had.
If you've got any other questions about Sam's 2021 F-150, F-150s in general, we've obviously got Mustangs, Broncos, we're Ford guys. If you've got any questions about anything, put them in the comments because we read all the comments. We answer, and if we don't know the answer, we'll get it.
So make sure, guys, down in the comments, you also let me know what things that you've noticed about your new 2021 F-150. Things that you like, things that you dislike. How has your first month or two been with your new truck?
Thanks for watching this video. Check another one out in the end card right now, and we've also got links to all of our playlists down in the description on all of our different vehicles here on the channel. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.